Happy Friday, Irish coffee fans, and welcome to July. We're going to get you started this morning with U.S. news. Republicans are now moving to pass an anti-terrorism package through the House of Representatives next week. While the details of the legislation are still unclear, one of the key provisions would prevent suspected terrorists from purchasing guns, a matter that has been a hot-button issue in Congress lately. So, while this particular provision might seem like a fairly nonpartisan, obvious step in the right direction, partisanship has divided the nation's legislative body over the issue and how to best address gun control at large. However, it appears that Democrats are open to hearing what Republicans will introduce, one spokesperson saying that, quote, "It remains to be seen whether the legislation is a bipartisan proposal that will address gun violence by keeping guns out of the hands of suspected terrorists, or if this is a partisan package that includes poison pill provisions." Secretary of Defense Ash Carter announced yesterday that the Pentagon would be lifting its ban on transgender individuals joining the military. Quote, "Effective immediately, transgender Americans may serve openly and they can no longer be discharged or otherwise separated from the military just for being transgender," said Carter. While the Obama administration sees this as an opportunity to now access 100% of America's population for talented soldiers, the move has already drawn criticism and opposition from some respected and talented officials, such as former Defense Secretary Robert Gates, who believes that the administration is prioritizing politics over policy. Moving right on to world news. Authorities in Turkey have taken into custody 22 individuals they believe are connected to the deadly attacks at Istanbul's Ataturk airport. Counter-terror officials also believe that they have identified the mastermind behind the attack, a man named Ahmed Shatayev, a one-armed Chechen terrorist who commands more than 130 militants. In a move that has shocked much of the UK, Boris Johnson, the leader of the Leave campaign, announced yesterday that he would not be running for Prime Minister. Many saw his work on the Leave movement as an attempt to set himself up to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and the country at large. However, he claimed that the person to succeed leaving Prime Minister David Cameron will not be him. As for elections, it might not be a great idea for leading government officials holding positions designed to be entirely apolitical to meet with members of presidential campaigns. However, it seems like Attorney General Loretta Lynch didn't quite get the memo, as she met privately with Bill Clinton on Monday, one day prior to the release of the House Benghazi Committee's report on the 2012 attacks in Libya. Needless to say, this has rubbed Republicans the wrong way. Quote, "Attorney General Lynch's decision to breach the well-defined ethical standards of the Department of Justice and the American legal profession is an outrageous abuse of the public's trust," said conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch. Donald Trump has used the private meeting as political ammunition, calling it a terrible sneak. In an attempt to appeal to far-right conservative voters, Trump responded to the Supreme Court's recent decision to block anti-abortion measures in Texas by saying that if he was president, quote, "You won't even have to question. You wouldn't even have to bother. You're going to know the answers." Although this is entirely incoherent and meaningless, it was a stance against abortion rights and an appeal to an evangelical base, which understandably strikes many as political pandering. As for your market report, the S&P 500 was up 1.36% at closing yesterday. However, the price of oil dropped as consumers worry about the price of Brent surpassing the $50 per barrel level the day before. In sports, Michael Phelps has qualified for his 5th Olympic Games, making him the first male swimmer to ever participate in that many Olympic competitions. And last but not least, culture. A Picasso piece from the summer of 1909, the Femme Assise portrait, has sold for a whopping $63.7 million, making it the most expensive Cubist piece ever sold at auction. We hope you enjoyed your morning news with a kick. If you did, be sure to share it with your now less informed coworkers and friends. Have a great 4th of July weekend, and thanks for listening to this edition of Irish Coffee.